Good morning, all, depending on when you're watching this. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, I am showing you the final GX that needs to be revealed from the upcoming Sun and Moon 7 Celestial Storm expansion. We've seen we've seen all the other GXs. I mean, I'm still over the moon excited about Rayquaza GX, but I have done videos about all of the GXs. I will pop links to, hopefully all of them, in the description if I remember, and I feel good that I will remember. Today, right now, it's time to talk about Shiftry. Now, I know that Sun and Moon 7 is a Hoenn featured set, so I know that Shiftry is a Hoenn Pokemon. Even so, I cannot be the only one that, to be perfectly honest, was quite surprised to find out that we get a Shiftry GX. I don't know. Either way, it has been revealed over on the official Pokemon website in Japan, and it has been translated by the lovely David Hochmann over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. And it's looking alright. Starting off, it's got 240 HP, which is up there with stuff like Decidueye GX, which is pretty good. It's not quite up there with stuff like Metagross. It's not on the highest amount of GX, but it's still a pretty good amount of HP. It has the expected weakness to fire, which will be a pain because Ho-Oh GX is still pretty good, and Ho-Oh GX will still get an easy one-hit KO. Retreat cost of 2 means that after rotation, Escape Board will not give it free retreat, though we'll bring it down to 1, which is quite nice. No resistance here is to be expected, and being a grass Pokemon means that, I don't know, it gets Lurantis promo to do a bit of extra damage. Maybe. You can always use Leafeon GX to evolve up a little bit faster, although I think I've made my thoughts fairly clear that I'm not a huge fan of Leafeon GX as much as I really want to be. Of course, had Forest of Giant Plants not rotated, that would be really cool, but it did, so it's kind of a moot point. First of all, 1 grass energy, 40 damage, confusion. It's pretty good. I mean, for ages, we've been using Espeon GX, which for 1 psychic energy does 30 damage plus confusion. The thing is that Espeon has the EV from Sun and Moon. So you attach a psychic energy, and then you immediately instantly evolve up into Espeon, and then you can go second, and on turn 1, you've got this rolling. 30 damage plus confusion is good, ergo 40 damage plus confusion is good. But it's on a stage 2. You've got to get it up and rolling before you can do 40 damage plus confusion. And that's the thing that really puts me off here just a little bit. I think if you've got a Shiftry GX up, then yeah, 40 for 1 energy plus confusion is pretty nice. Plus, of course, you're hitting weakness on stuff like Lycanroc GX and Lapras GX, and there's going to be a video coming about this, if Pokemon will ever stop releasing so much news, but I expect Lapras GX to be really good going forward. So, you're hitting nice weakness. One thing that does upset me a little bit, with a choice band, you're hitting 70. With weakness, you're hitting 140. If your opponent then flips Tails on Confusion, they take 30 damage, because Confusion, they've got to flip a coin if they want to attack. Tails, it fails, and they take 30. That puts them up to 170. Well, Lycanroc's got 200 and Lapras has got 190. So actually here, you're not going to be getting any cheeky one-hit KOs with this first attack. Which is fine, you can still be doing, 140 plus confusion. And believe me, if you're against a grass weak deck and you can do 140 plus confusion for 1 energy, that's pretty good. But it is a starter for 10 kind of attack. It's an attack you use while you're building up for a better attack. It's not a focus of a deck. Grass double colourless, 90 damage, but it's called Extra Sensory, so that might give the game away for some of you. If you have the same amount of cards in hand as your opponent, you do an extra 90 damage. 180 for free energy is flat out great, especially given that you can use double colourless energy here, so it's essentially 2 energy attachments for 180. Now compare that to something like a Ho-Oh, for instance, which takes 4 energy to do 180, and you can't use it the following turn. This is just a phenomenal attack. 180, and there's no discard energy, there's no you can't attack the following turn malarkey. You just do 180 for 2 energy attachments. The catch? You've got to have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent. The good news is we are getting 2 cards now, which basically mean we are absolutely fine with this. First of all, in Forbidden Light that just dropped, we had a reprint of Judge. Judge says that both players shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 4 cards, so you can play a Judge and then you'll have the same number of cards in hand as your opponent. One huge caveat about playing Judge: once you've played Judge, you then have to basically attack right away, because if you play Judge looking for a double colourless and then attach the double colourless, you do run into the issue of, oh wait, now I've got 3 cards in hand and my opponent's got 4. You could always play something like an Octillery, at least for a little while before rotation, play a Judge, play a card or 2, draw until 5, and you've got to have 1 card in your hand you can use, but as long as you do, you can then go back down to 4. As a side note, do remember that the Marshadow from Shining Legends has the exact same thing, but as an ability. So what you could do here is just play around, use your supporter, etc., then drop a Marshadow and you've got the same number of cards in your hand. Although do remember that Marshadow takes up a bench space, so it's not like you can do this every single turn. Do bear it in mind though. The other thing to remember is that we are getting a reprint of Copycat in Champion Road, which is being included in our Celestial Storm set, the same set this is coming out in. So we are going to have that. Shuffle your hand into your deck, draw as many cards as your opponent has. It does just literally match your opponent's hand size, giving you the extra damage that you need to do. So this is looking pretty good. It's far from perfect, but we got a whole bunch of options for getting the same number of cards in hand as our opponent, so that's all well and good. Just remember that Copycat and Judge both mean that you can't play any cards after you play it, which can be a bit of a pain. But you're hitting 180, so straight away you're getting a one-hit KO on a Tapu Lele or a Drampa or things of that nature. Then once you add a Choice Band and go up to 210, you're getting Buzzwole, you're getting Ultra Necrozma, you're getting all the way up to Zoroark as well. So quite frankly, this is great. There are going to be a few cards like Greninja that have a little bit of extra HP and you won't be one-hit KOing. Oh no, wait, you're hitting that for weakness as well. I forgot to mention it earlier, I thought I'd chuck it in. But there will be the odd things like, for instance, Solgaleo that you just sit there and you're like, yeah, I can't one-hit that. Otherwise, it's looking really good. 180 for 2 energy attachments is great. It is absolutely over the top great, and it really is a great amount of damage, but it's on a stage 2. And like with all the stage 2s at the moment, this could be the thing that hurt it. If we were able to use Forest of Giant Plants, then I really do think this could be a genuinely viable attack for taking down a lot of big Pokemon. Huge HP, huge numbers, love it. Do bear in mind it is a stage 2. Now there is a GX attack, and actually while I'm recording this using David's translation, the lovely Antoine Boulay has sent me a tweet, or I suppose a private message on Twitter would be more appropriate. So shout out to the lovely Antoine Boulay. So what does it actually do, this GX attack? Well, shuffle one of your opponent's Pokemon in play, and all cards attached to it into your opponent's deck. You just get to get rid of one of their Pokemon, and we've seen this on GXs so far. This, of course, sounds a lot like Tapu Fini GX's GX attack, although Tapu Fini could only shuffle in the active Pokemon. This can shuffle in a bench Pokemon or the active, it's your choice. And obviously we've got Sylveon, which makes your opponent pick up a couple of their bench Pokemon and all of that good stuff. So that's alright. That sounds pretty nice. It's fine, but to be honest, I'd quite like this for 1 grass energy, not for a grass double colourless. Although it is the same cost as extra sensory, so you know what, this is fine, I suppose. And it's another one of his GX attacks. You're not going to be desperate to use it every game. It's not going to be one of those where you just sit there going, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to use this GX attack. But there's going to be games that wins you the game. So, for instance, your opponent has a Vikavolt out, and they've only got 1 Vikavolt out. So what do? You sit there and go, I'm going to make you shuffle your only Vikavolt back into your deck. Now you have nothing you can do. Or maybe your opponent couldn't get any Malamar out, but that's alright, because they used a couple of B-string to build up a really big Ultra Necrozma on the bench. Well, if you drop this GX attack at the right time, not only do you make them get their Ultra Necrozma back in their deck, but you ruin their B-string. And B-string really comes to mind with me when I look at this GX attack. You can only play 4 B-string, and you can only use them when your opponent has 3 or 4 prizes remaining. But then you get to search your deck for 2 basic energy and attach them to one of your Ultra Beasts. That's pretty gosh darn good. By using this GX attack nicely, you can get rid of all of that good work they did using B-string. That to me is pretty nice. I don't think it's a great GX attack, but I think you will use it. And for that reason, I think it's pretty good. I mean, the first attack is really just there to waste a bit of time while you get going. Do a little bit of extra damage. And the GX attack is there just to kind of help a little bit. But the main attack here, the fact that you do 180, the fact that you've got 240 HP, I'm a little bit excited about this. Maybe I shouldn't be, maybe it's not that good. I'm going to give it 3 Wassies. I think the fact that it's a stage 2 could ultimately be its undoing, like so many stage 2s in the past. But just the fact that it's got such a high HP, and it does so much damage, and it's got a couple of other nice attacks, I think it's worth having a play with. But if you disagree with me, well, great news, there's a comment section. Go nuts, be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassie, and shift for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do just that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.